We're here in New York Soho District to visit reviewer Greg Petan, who has in-house a pair of Estelon Aura speakers. We're right in front of Balthazar Restaurant. If you're a New Yorker, or even if you just visited, it's a good chance you've been to this restaurant. It's a classic. I'm Howard Neller, and welcome to The Listening Chair. Hey, it's Howard Neller. Welcome to another episode of The Listening Chair. If you like what you've been seeing, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment or two for the YouTube algorithm, and we thank you greatly. So we're here today with Greg Petan. Greg, thanks for having me over here.
Absolutely. Thanks
It's really fantastic.
Always nice to see you, man. Always nice.
Unbelievable place that you have
Thank
here.
you very much. I appreciate it very much.
Yeah. Greg is a reviewer with positive feedback. He's also a fantastic artist, and we're going to show you that a little bit at the end of the video. Greg has had all kind of parties here in this place. I've been to a few of them. I think there's one coming up in a couple of evenings from now. A lot of fun. A lot of famous people have been here. A lot of great musicians. But we're here today, right now, for the audio. And Greg has the Estelon Aura speakers in for review. They're $19,900 for the pair,
Right.
And that's in U.S. dollars. And Greg has it. We were listening to him a little bit before, and I'm not going to give too much away about the sound right now because I think we're going to have to look at Greg's review. We're going to go over the speaker a little bit as far as the specs, and we'll talk about a little bit about the equipment that Greg is going to be playing music through on the Estelons, and also a little bit about Greg's room and again, his art. So you've been reviewing for a long time now, right?
I think it's going on 23 years.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit long. Yeah, a little bit longer.
Okay,
yeah.
so you know what you're doing at this point?
I hope so. I mean, well, we're all kind of learning as we go, for sure. Learn something new every time I plug something in. But yeah, it's been a long time.
Okay.
It's been a lot of years.
And now you're with Positive Feedback?
Yeah, I've been with them for I'd say about 5 or 6 years, and I like the way they handle their writers, and they give me a lot of autonomy. They trust me to get gear. You know, I don't have to procure it through channels. That's kind of a big deal for me.
And what kind of gear have you had here in the last couple of years?
Last couple of years, let's see here. I had the Pass 200.8 mono amplifiers.
Okay.
I've had D'Agostino integrated. I've had a Boulder integrated.
I remember the Boulder.
Yeah, the Boulder
Very nice piece of
866,
equipment.
terrific piece of gear. Speakers, I had the Sonus Faber Liliums for review. That was actually pre positive feedback. That was with Jeff Dorgay at Tone Audio.
You wrote for Tone as well.
Yeah, I've written for Tone as well. Yeah, I've had a lot of really terrific, awesome gear. I mean, you know, I have found that gear has gotten a lot better than it was when probably you and I started this hobby.
Okay.
It's
Absolutely.
yeah, manufacturers are hitting the mark at price points too, which is really interesting to me.
Yep, the price that you can get very good sound is decreasing.
Decreased,
every week.
absolutely, no question about it.
So this is a beautiful space. How large is it here in Soho?
Oh, this is 3,800 square feet, 2-bedroom. The main room here is 33 or 35 across by 60 to the back wall of the kitchen, but it opens up another 50, 60 feet going to the front door. So it's about 120 feet, half a block, basically. It's the half of the building.
So this is essentially the real estate of the size of a house in New York City,
Right.
down here in Soho. It's like you said, it's a very large room. You didn't mention the ceilings are 14 feet. I think
Yeah,
you said that?
13.5 or, yeah,
Okay.
I call them 14.
Okay.
Yeah, I round up.
So you have a large listening area that's, I imagine, difficult to pressurize with all speakers. Difficult or impossible, with all speakers. How does the room affect, how you review speakers and how you set up a system here?
It is as we noted while we were talking before we started recording, that it's a different experience listening basically in a free air environment. I have no sidewalls. The ceilings are out of the first reflection point that would cause image distortion. What you get is more of a slightly more diffused. It's a little more laid back, and it's not as kind of microscopic detail as you would get in a smaller room where you're getting that direct sound from the speaker like directly into your head. To me, it does mimic a aspect of live music that I really do like, which is that I feel like the sound is being launched from space, from a space in front of me. There's a lot of bloom with the right gear, the right speakers get a lot of bloom, lack of grain, lack of glare. None of that slap that you get from that first reflection point when you have sidewalls. That could be very, especially like a 3 kilohertz range.
What speakers have you had in here that have pressurized this large room?
Let's see here. I had the Big 9 Audio Evidence Master that worked pretty well. I found them a little bit tight sounding for me, but they did pressurize the room nicely. My big Sonny's back here, the big black
Sonny
speakers.
Audio?
Sonny Cable, yeah.
Sonny Cable, so yeah.
Those are Japanese speakers from like circa 2005, 2006. You can tell by looking at them, they definitely pressurize the room to very, very high pressure levels. Yeah, those are awesome. But you know, when I'm reviewing things like the Estelon here, even the PS Audios that are behind the big Sonny's, I make a concession going in that I'm not going to judge them by that particular parameter of pressurizing the room. I listen to the tonality, I listen to cohesiveness and things like that. Much more important than being able to create a launch of a airwave that hits you in the chest.
Right.
So I don't hold that against them. If they can't do it, that's not a problem for me.
Okay. So these Aura, the Estelon Aura, can you tell us a little bit about them?
Sure. They are a 3-way. They have a 1-inch. I'll take this off.
Yep.
They have a 1-inch fabric dome tweeter, 2 5-inch. I believe they are like a wood pulp drivers, 5-inch mid-range drivers. They have a downward-facing 10-inch paper driver, and it's a sealed enclosure. Just one thing. The enclosure is made from a marble composite. I guess it's heat pressurized and put into a mold, and they're really they feel really good to touch. I don't know if you ran your hands over these, but
No, I haven't.
No,
Let's do that.
they're lovely. They feel really.
They do feel really
They feel
nice.
nice. So a little bit of satiny finish, but very
absolutely.
tactile. Beautifully made speaker for $19,000.
Absolutely. So what do you have? Let's talk a little bit. Let's take a minute. Let's talk a little bit about the system. Maybe you can take us through to see what what you're supporting these speakers with.
Yeah, absolutely. So here I have a Triangle Art signature turntable. This is one of the early models that I got from Tom Vu. It's a very, very nice player.